Hello, welcome back to our series called The Student Lens. This is a podcast that focuses on students' experiences in the classroom and what they wish their professors knew about what they should be doing in the classroom. So my name is Dr. Alexis Johnson, and I am the interim director of the Center of Faculty Life. And I'm going to go ahead and let our guest introduce herself. I'm going to let her tell your name, major, and then your year in school.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Minnie. I am a senior here at Arkansas Tech pursuing my digital content creation degree.
Awesome. All right, so I want you to imagine, just think about one of your favorite professors. What makes their teaching style in particular stand out to you?
This is going to sound like pandering, but I think you actually, you and Dr. Eshelman are some of my favorite teaching methods just because you so succinctly and make information relatable to us. You make our project materials understandable, but you also allow us the freedom to express and do our assignments in ways that showcase us.
Awesome. Okay, so what do you think, so in classrooms, what do you think makes a lecture memorable to you versus one that you would just immediately forget?
Enthusiasm immediately, because if you can tell when someone's not interested in the material that they teach, and so it's like, why would I be interested in that material if my own professor isn't? And so that, and also I like my language went out the door all of a sudden. It's like class participation. There we go. So you can get other people to contribute and include themselves in it, because it kind of creates a sense of community within the classroom.
Mm-hmm. So that interactive. So what makes a lecture forgetful to you? Like, what are some things that you've experienced in the class where you're like, oh, I don't know that I'm ever going to remember this stuff? Not just even topics you're not interested in, but like how the information's presented.
It's when someone is just, for me, it's when someone's just throwing facts directly at me. And it's like they're just reading from the book. They don't pause, to be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? Once again, it's that class participation, because for me, I need relatability to a degree, something that'll help it stick in my head.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So what kinds of feedback that you've gotten on assignments from professors in general have been most helpful, do you think, as far as like your learning and advancement and growth during your college career?
For me, candor. Like I appreciate constructive criticism a lot, because for me, like from my family, no matter what I do, it's always, it's so good. Wow, you've put so much work into that. It's like, I need someone to actually be like, you need to work on this. I need that constructive criticism so I don't get too into myself, get too egotistical.
Yeah, so you can have like that feedback, that specific feedback where this is what I need to work on, like specifically.
Yes, because for some, like I get really into topics, but I can get easily distracted too by surplus information, and I'll veer off from the main point I was trying to make.
Yeah. So have you had a professor that has made a difference first just in your academic life, like advancing you, helping you feel confident, and making you realize like, hey, here's a skill that I really love that I was able to learn from this class?
Oh, absolutely. Once again, Dr. Eshelman, he is actually the one who assisted me coming back to college, because yes, I'm a senior, but prior to this, I had taken a 7-year hiatus to settle down, have a family, and then, just ended up, I need to do something for me, and my kids, of course. And so I went back, I talked to him, and he was able to really guide me and see like what my passions were, but also direct them in a way where I can make a career out of it, but still be fulfilled in that as well.
Yeah. So that kind of leads me to another question that relates to you. What has it been like as far as like being a non-traditional student? Like, what's your experience been like, and what do you think faculty members should know about more non-traditional students, and how can they support that group of students?
Yeah, definitely. For me, like honestly, when my first semester at Tech, like the first out the gate from high school was, I think, in 2008. Okay, that was, I'm up there, guys, okay? And so I would try to go, and back then things were a little more strict. There, wasn't quite as open as things are these days. And so it was a lot of anxiety and things of not, meeting criteria, expectations. And so like I'd take a break, come back, try it again, get burned out, leave again. And so, but now like this semester, I think it's just finding your place was the biggest thing that helped. It was like I had to develop as a person to know who I was, what I was into. So when I came back, I had people that were also open to that. They're like, hey, we've been through life. We understand. This is what you're good at, or this is what you're passionate about. We will support you.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I really think like it's just understanding human nature and that not everybody fits into that box. Some people just have to go away, and some people are ready out the gate. And it's just it's being able to understand each person individually as they are, but still make it cohesive to where everybody can learn at the same time in a classroom.
Right. Yeah. Making sure that everyone feels included and like their needs are being met. And yeah, that's great. Any other like advice for faculty for non-traditional students? Like what could they do to support them? Especially because, a lot of our non-traditional students, they have jobs or they have families. And so it's an added layer to balance. So what would you say to faculty as far as supporting?
Communication, honestly, because like I know that's like once again, English went out the window. Your specialty, there we go. But yes, and so it's just one of those things. Communication really is key. It's understanding, kids are here to learn. They do want, to do better for themselves and achieve something, but it's also life gets in the way sometimes, kids get sick, or, you have a kid, that you might not have been expecting, or you meet somebody, stuff happens.
Yeah, right.
And it's just being able to understand that, have some empathy, but also being able, letting your students know that you are open to that communication. You're open to that, what's the word? Dialogue. There we go. Yeah. Open to that dialogue so you can understand each other.
Awesome. That's great. So what advice would you give to faculty who want to be better mentors to undergrads? So not even just teaching in the classroom, but like supporting students in their like professional and personal lives. What could they do?
Like for example, for me, I just, when I first came back, I started this digital content creation degree because I was interested in, doing like podcasting, or, I was interested in making a personal business, and I wanted the tools to be able to promote it myself.
Yeah.
But then like I took an oral interpretation class where I just started reading aloud, found out I had a passion for theater and voice acting, and then I got on the Arkansas Tech Radio Theater. I did a play, so it's just like these odd opportunities that help you unlock these parts of yourself is what I really like.
Awesome. Yeah, so like being a mentor is helping students maybe see those parts that they wouldn't necessarily see, or discover those things that they wouldn't necessarily discover. That's great. What do you wish that professors understood a little bit more about the student experience? Like if you can transport them and have them become students for a day, what do you wish they knew about like some of the challenges that students face and some of the things that students in general wish their faculty knew?
It's a roller coaster, because they were students at one point, but academics were different, it was a whole different structure, whole different ecosystem. And so as it's changed over the years, I would hope they've kind of adapted to it as well, just like how new generations have to adapt as well. And that I just hope everybody is willing to do it together to reach a better, goal or purpose,
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. So like being able to adjust and keep with the times, like of the changes that happen and things like that. And obviously like some faculty went to school when technology wasn't as advanced as it is today. So
exactly, because like my degree I'm pursuing, this is like the first year that they've had this degree. If I had been trying back then, like the early 2000s, I probably would have, like if I'd just been beating my head against the wall trying to finish these classes, I probably would have graduated around like 2012 or something, but I might have been stuck with a degree that I didn't like, or I couldn't utilize because I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't fulfilled with it.
Yeah, so there's a degree now that exists that can help you hone in on those skills you actually
and it's
want.
kind of one of those things where it's just like, it's just, life finds a way to kind of lead you where you
Yeah.
feel like you're meant to be eventually.
You're like, okay, yeah, this was the time. This was the right time. If you could have an ideal classroom, like if you could have a day in a classroom and it would be your perfect setup, and like, what would that look like?
Like my perfect setup in a classroom?
Yeah, like you can talk about the environment, you can talk about like what the actual lecture would look like as far as just like interaction, things like that.
Okay. For me, I think the perfect one would be where everyone is excited to talk, like, hey, I've got this idea, or I've heard about this, and everyone's like, wow, that's so cool, I've heard about something. It's just everybody is able to express, because I feel like sometimes in a classroom people get a little, not scared, but just like a little stoic, that a little reserved, because
Yes.
it's a classroom and you're not really there necessarily to show out, make friends and all that. But I would like it if it was an environment where everybody was excited to participate and express their personality, so everybody can learn from everybody.
Yeah, so having like just a really interactive space where students feel safe and comfortable being able to talk. All right. I have a finish this sentence for you.
Oh.
So finish this sentence. Students thrive when faculty. It's a tricky one.
I want to say contributes, probably, because that's multifaceted too, because you contribute to the material, contribute to the conversation, or encouragement, things like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So like they're contributing too. Like it's not just students are interacting, it's the whole classroom is interacting.
Because their guidance is the whole reason we're there. We're here to learn from them.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So is there any other advice or tips or information you would want faculty to know before we wrap up today?
Okay. I would like them to know that, if students come to you and, they're not exactly outside the norm, they don't exactly check the boxes of a traditional student or things like that. Don't write them off. Just like kind of take that chance to, once again, adapt, communicate, and see the best way to mentor these kids, because they're here for a purpose. They're here for your knowledge. They're here for your expertise.
Right.
And so it's just finding a way to reach them, even if it's not necessarily the standby that you've lived with for most of your career.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dallas, for joining us on the Student Lens podcast today. We're so grateful that we had her. And be sure that you check out all of our podcasts. We are featuring students, wonderful students like Dallas, as well as exceptional faculty. So we'll see you in the next one.